HRN listeners. As we celebrate our 15th year, we are deepening our commitment to giving voice to the next generation of food systems storytellers, and we need your help. Our internship and fellowship programs help activate new possibilities for underrepresented and underestimated young people through experiential journalism, audio engineering, and production training. Through these unique programs, HRN helps food equity stewards build essential workforce readiness skills that expand their potential and foster economic mobility. Please consider supporting these critical programs. And with a minimum donation, you can be entered to win a dinner for two at an amazing restaurant in one of 8 cities and tickets to a concert at a great venue in one of those cities. We have incredible partners across the country who have donated, as they also share our passion for helping to educate the next generation of food systems storytellers. Check out heritageradionetwork.org/15 to donate and enter to win today. That's heritageradionetwork.org/15 to donate and enter to win today. And make sure you donate before March 31st. Thank you.
Today's program has been brought to you by the International Culinary Center, offering courses that range from classic French techniques in culinary, pastry, and bread baking to Italian studies to management, from culinary technology to food writing, from cake making to wine tasting. For more information, visit internationalculinarycenter.com.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network, broadcasting live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. If you like this program, visit heritageradionetwork.org for thousands more.
All right, thank you for tuning in to the Heritage Radio Network. You are listening to the Farm Report, and I'm your host, Erin Fairbanks. We are coming to you live, as always, from the back of Roberta's Pizza in beautiful Bushwick, Brooklyn. And today we're going to learn a little bit about how New York City's green markets are getting some of the best regionally produced foods into the city's grocery stores, bodegas, restaurants, and other retail outlets. We are on the line with Olivia Blanchflower of Greenmarket Co. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Erin.
So lovely to have you on today. I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about what's happening up at Greenmarket Co. But I suppose we should start with just the broad strokes on what it is exactly that makes Co. different from the rest of a green market.
Sure. So the Greenmarket Farmers Market program has been around for just about 40 years now. It's been really successful at connecting New Yorkers to regional producers in a retail setting. So it's enabled individuals and households to get to know their farmer, purchase directly from their farmer. Nationally, we've seen a huge upswing in the number of farmers markets that exist, but only about 2% of the food that Americans eat is purchased at farmers markets. The rest of the food that we purchase comes through wholesale channels, like supermarkets, restaurants, school meals, institutions, and things like that. So Greenmarket Co. is different from the Greenmarket Farmers Market program in that it's our effort to link more local farmers with the mainstream wholesale food system, because that has sort of left out a lot of the mid-sized growers who traditionally sold to places like restaurants and supermarkets. With the globalization of the food system, mid-sized farmers have been really unable to compete with giant industrial streams of farm products, but have still been too big to benefit from selling by the piece or by the pound in a retail setting. So Greenmarket Co. is, like I said, it's our effort to bring those farmers back into the picture, enable more New Yorkers to know where their food has come from and contribute to a local economy by buying from the places that they're used to buying, like grocery stores and corner stores and places like that.
So this is a relatively new project. When did Co. get started, and where did some of those initial kind of conversations come from?
Sure. Grow NYC has actually been moving food around the city in very small volumes since around 2006 when we launched our youth market program. That program involved renting U-Haul vans and picking up produce the day of each market from farmers who were selling at markets in the city. And that was in an effort to meet the needs of lower-income communities where there was limited access to fresh produce and where there was a demand for that produce, but not necessarily enough that it could stay in a traditional farmer's market with more than one vendor. So Greenmarket had been, or Grow NYC rather, had been doing that for a few years, and over the course of doing that, restaurants and corner stores and public schools and other people interested in purchasing wholesale but didn't have the means to get to a farmer's market to pick up would ask us to throw a box or two of produce on there. So we've sort of been unofficially doing some of this work for a few years, and Greenmarket Co. is really our first formal foray into the world of wholesale distribution, and we officially launched this project in April of 2012, so just over a year ago.
So I'm assuming over the past year there's been a lot of kind of lessons learned, and I definitely want to tuck into some of those. But I want to stay focused on kind of when you were first putting the program together. How did you identify farmers to work with? Were they farmers that were already part of the Green Market system? Did you do an open call? And was there a similar kind of geographical footprint that you were pulling farmers from within?
Well, we had a good head start. I mean, you know, being involved with the biggest network of farmers markets in the country, you meet a lot of farmers, so that's great. And we had a good head start because of our work with Youth Market, because, you know, for the past 6 or 7 years, we had been buying from farmers in wholesale volumes. They weren't necessarily... that doesn't necessarily represent all of the farmers that we work with now, but, you know, it was a really good place to start. We began working with a lot of the farmers that sell at the wholesale Green Market in the Hunts Point neighborhood of the Bronx, and also purchased from some Green Market farmers who had enough surplus of certain products that they were able to sell them on a wholesale basis. And then, you know, we did put out some advertisements. We spoke at conferences, but a lot of it was really word of mouth. A lot of farmers referred us to their neighbors who were better scaled to supply in wholesale volumes. We talked with cooperative extension agents and other partners in the agricultural world, and amassed a pretty decent roster. And to date, we've worked with over 50 farmers in the area, and because of the fact that we are pulling for, you know, the farms that we work with tend to be larger, so we pull from a larger region than the Green Market retail markets, and we are purchasing from farmers mainly in upstate New York, but we also get product from farmers in northern Jersey, eastern PA, and we even work with a grain cooperative in Maine.
Got it. So what about the other infrastructure? You know, are you guys are located up at Hunts Point? Do they give you a parking space and then the farmers meet up there? Or how are you kind of receiving and then redistributing goods? What kind of facilities or equipment is necessary to kind of smooth the transaction?
Well, we are not, we hope one day to be in the Hunts Point neighborhood of the Bronx, not the Hunts Point Terminal Market. Currently, we are sharing space with a longtime Green Market farmer and ally, Red Jacket Orchards, out of their space in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. But for our first 15 months, we were co-located with City Harvest at their food rescue facility. They were kind enough to sort of let us incubate our business there just as we were getting started. And a lot of food hubs, or burgeoning food hubs, have sort of taken this route because starting a big venture like this is, you know, it was new for us, and we wanted to grow slow and sort of, you know, the kiddie pool way. So it was nice to be in a beautiful state-of-the-art facility like the one that City Harvest has and benefit from, you know, their operations staff and learn a little bit about the ways that they move food throughout the city. And then, you know, as we grew and needed more space, we moved into the Red Jacket facility, and we're currently looking for more space in the South Bronx because we want to be close to the Hunts Point Terminal Market, and the, you know, the wholesale produce business is really centered in Hunts Point.
So you want to be located in that area because, is it more kind of convenient from a transportation format for farmers coming in or for trucks going out, or what are the benefits of being in the same neighborhood as the other produce distributors that are serving the city?
A lot of our farmers are making deliveries to Hunts Point already, so it's easier for them from a logistics point of view, and that translates to efficiencies equal cost savings for us. So that's one major point. And also, Hunts Point is located, or the terminal market is located in Hunts Point for a reason, and that's because you enjoy pretty easy access to the rest of the city. And being in Long Island City and being in Greenpoint was great, but we found that a lot of trucking companies will, the rates for trucking in and out of the South Bronx are less than from other areas of the city.
Got it. That makes sense. Now, if I am a grocer or a bodega owner, how am I finding out about you guys, and what is it that you're bringing to the table that other kind of produce vendors aren't? Why am I buying from you? How am I finding out about you?
Well, I think what a lot of people really like and appreciate about us is a couple things. I think a big part of it is the transparency. A lot of distributors are realizing the marketing potential for offering local foods, but not all of them allow for the same transparency of the exact source of the farm, the growing methods for that farm. But every item on our availability list has a farm code next to it, and we provide information about growing methods, the background, maybe the history of the family who's been producing food on that land. So people are able to pass that information on to their customers. Also, I think Greenmarket is a really trusted brand in the local food world, and people feel that when we tell them it comes from a farm, they can feel pretty confident that it does. I think also people are interested in our mission. The produce, well, I shouldn't just say produce, it's a number of different farm products, but the sales that we make to traditional customers like institutions and restaurants and grocery stores and specialty retailers, the buying power that represents and the infrastructure that we have really powers our food access programming, namely the Youth Market Program, which is a network of youth-run farm stands in underserved neighborhoods, and our Fresh Food Box Program, which is a group buying program that allows underserved communities to leverage group buying power in order to purchase high-quality, locally produced stuff at below retail prices.
So are you finding, like, from among this kind of landscape of buyers, large and small scale grocers, bodegas, restaurants, that you're kind of niching out into certain areas naturally and are feeling good about that, or you want to kind of look at growing a more diverse, I'm just wondering, like, how diverse your clientele is and how you're feeling about that.
Our clientele is actually fairly diverse. When we first launched this thing, we assumed that our programming was our clients were going to be pretty much split into thirds, that a third of our programming, a third of our deliveries would be going to our own food access programming, about a third would be going to restaurants, and another third to supermarkets. Give or take a few percentage points here and there. What we found in our first year was that about a third of our business did go to our own food access programs. But then we saw a lot of business in areas that we didn't really expect. One of them was with institutions in the city, namely senior centers. I would not have predicted that there would have been such a great response, but DFTA was really great about getting us in early to talk to their senior center managers and kitchen managers, and we've enjoyed a great relationship with senior centers in the city and other emergency feeding programs like City Meals on Wheels, who's ordered from us very consistently. Lenox Hill Neighborhood House and Project Find are also other senior centers that we've been serving, and it works out very well for us because we need a bit of a lead time in terms of receiving client orders because we don't have enough space to hold an inventory. So whatever we purchase from a farmer is something that's been ordered by a customer. So that is sort of difficult for a restaurant or a retailer if you have limited storage space and you're not sure what you will have used up. But if you're a senior center and you're planning your meals months in advance and you know you serve a certain number of people every day, and you want to make sure that you're meeting requirements for high nutritional value, then we end up being a really great fit. So that was a really pleasant surprise, and we're continuing to work with more senior centers and nutrition assistance programs. We work with more every day, and it's been a great relationship to explore.
Interesting. So, well, I want to tuck into that a little bit, what you said, so regarding the ordering process. Mm-hmm. So, if you guys are not holding an inventory, if I'm a client looking to purchase from you, how do I know, I have a couple of questions, I guess. How do I know, what's available? And then if I'm the farmer, how am I kind of planning what percentage of the sales from my farm are going to go through you if, if you're not kind of committing to some type of, contract, or it's on a weekly or daily or monthly basis? Can you break down that kind of selling, buying arrangement a little bit for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So this being a new program, we were approaching a lot of farmers. We didn't have data saying we will buy X from you every single week because we're still changing quite a bit. So we were working mostly with farmers who they're wholesalers. They are producing in large quantities, and the items that we are buying from them don't represent such a huge portion of their business that they would need to know really far in advance. We have a procurement manager who works on the supply end of things and a sales manager who works with our clients. The procurement manager gathers availability information from the farmers saying, what will you have this week? And then we compile an availability list, which is then sent out to our clients. Clients order off of that availability list, and then based on the client orders, we place an order with the farmers. So, as I said, that can be challenging for some business models where, people have limited storage space or they're not sure what they will have used by the time the food actually gets to them. But on the flip side, it also means that, there's an assurance that whatever people are getting hasn't been sitting in our warehouse, and that they're getting the freshest stuff possible because it was ordered from the farmer specifically for them.
Excellent. That makes sense. We are going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the money end of things, the financing for getting the project started, and then how you remain competitive on the wholesale market. So hang tight. You're listening to the Heritage Radio Network, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Danger in the Snow by Snowmine on the heritageradionetwork.org. Keep it locked for more from the Farm Report.
The International Culinary Center is a proud sponsor of the heritageradionetwork.org. The ICC, with locations in New York and California, provide cutting-edge education to future chefs, restaurateurs, and wine professionals. We're proud to claim Dan Barber, Bobby Flay, and David Chang among our honored alumni. This is Dorothy Can Hamilton from Chef Story. Check out our ICC website at internationalculinarycenter.com.
All right, we are back. You've tuned into the Heritage Radio Network. You're listening to the Farm Report. I'm your host, Erin Fairbanks, and we are on the line with Olivia Blanchflower of Grow NYC's Greenmarket Co., talking about wholesale distribution of regional products from the New York State area. Olivia, so I'm curious, when Greenmarket and Grow NYC decided to take on this project, where did some of the initial kind of funding come from, and was the uptake on that pretty easy, or was it kind of a challenge to get things going? If you can give us a sense of the scope of that process.
We were actually really fortunate to have the support of a number of private foundations who we have a history of working with them, and as I said earlier, the wholesale distribution has kind of been in the works for a while, and it was just a matter of finding the right time and putting in the initial research and being able to push the button. So we put together a business plan and shopped it around to a few foundations, and we received startup money from the Doris Duke Foundation, the New World Foundation, and the Deutsche Bank Foundation to kind of get us off the ground, mostly pay our staff and take care of our initial infrastructure needs, like renting trucks and buying pallet wrap and hand trucks and all the little things that kind of go into getting a business like this off the ground. And, also, as I mentioned earlier, City Harvest made a contribution of in-kind warehouse space, which was really huge for us, being in New York where real estate is some of the most expensive in the country.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that the goal for the project is to be kind of self-sustaining, self-funded, or maybe not.
Yeah, I mean that is that is a goal. I think that when we first started, you start out with a business plan and everything looks very nice and neat on paper, and then you start actually doing it and some of your assumptions change. So what we found is that we can be self-sustaining if we can raise funds to buy some permanent infrastructure, like buying a distribution facility that would enable us to not be shelling out so much in rent, and also to incubate other local food businesses there and truly become a food hub.
Excellent, that makes sense. Now, what about from your client's perspective with regards to being competitive on price? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you're offering some added values with regards to the transparency in sourcing, the regionally sourced products. Sounds like too there may be a freshness component that plays into things. That's an added value. How do your prices compare to other wholesalers if we're looking kind of apples to apples or carrots to carrots? What's the kind of scope of that landscape?
Sure. It does depend on the product. Certain things in the height of the season were competitive. Others were not. Last year, for example, was a pretty poor apple crop, and so our apples were fairly expensive. But this year the apple crop has been great, and we're seeing really competitive apple prices. In other situations last year, I remember there was a situation where there was it was either a late corn harvest in Georgia or a poor corn harvest, and we saw New York corn being more competitive than corn from the South, which surprised even me. But just that really showed the importance of having a resilient local food system, because if we always plan on getting products from other regions of the states or of the world, when something happens in those regions, it's really important for us to have something to fall back on. And as far as the pricing aspect of it goes, the farmers that we're working with, they are wholesalers. They have been wholesaling. That's been their business plan for many, many years. So they know what they're doing. Most of our farmers sell to supermarket chains upstate, some that are fairly well known. They sell to restaurants in their own area and have other wholesale clients. So they're pretty savvy. It's not, occasionally we have worked with farmers who were just starting up who had certain specialized products, and, we would get lacinato kale in a banana box or something like that. But for the most part, we represent a decent but small percentage of some of these wholesalers' business. We hope to grow, but for the time being, they're really helping us as much as we are helping them, because they're educating us a lot about packaging norms and just the nature of the wholesale business in general.
I'm curious, where I always wonder, where the information and how the information comes into a group like yours that corn harvest in Georgia isn't going great. I imagine there's some kind of produce ticker that's shooting off information somewhere. I mean, is that something that people are kind of fascinated in following these things? Where should we be looking to kind of keep the finger on the pulse to that, or how's that information coming into your team?
Well, I will say there are a few produce blogs that I read, but I get most of my information like that from the farmers themselves, because it's their livelihood that's based on this information, so they follow it pretty darn closely. And a lot of them are working with brokers and other larger buyers who sort of funnel that information to them. So they really they give us most of the gossip, but I also read the produce news. There's the Perishable Pundit, which is fun to read, but it's in terms of local stuff specifically, we usually get a lot of that news from the farmers.
Now, I know, when you're at, I guess, let me start again. So in the kind of landscape of discussions with regards to kind of undergirding and growing the local food movement, the regional food movement, distribution is one of those hot topics that comes up, and people are constantly kind of harping on the fact that, the distribution lines aren't there, the networks aren't there. That's the space we need to be putting energy into developing, creative ways to support, medium scale, small scale, large scale, regional farmers. And I'm curious, for folks out there who are kind of young students, young people interested in engaging in the food movement, what are the resources that an organization like yours is looking for? What's the skill set people should be looking to develop? I mean, this seems like a really powerful way to get engaged in affecting real change. And I'm wondering if there are things that have jumped out to you over the last year where you're like, man, I wish I was, better at this, or could really use someone who knew how to do this. I mean, what is kind of the workforce development aspects that we should be keeping our eyes tuned to?
It's funny because identifying people to work as a part of this team has been really challenging, just because of the sort of mix of skills that we're really looking for, especially working in our warehouse, finding people who have knowledge of fresh produce and also knowledge of warehouse operations, and also are willing to start work at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. That has been challenging. And also, we see a lot of, I meet a lot of people who study food systems in sort of a broad sense, but there does not seem to be so much information out there about wholesale distribution chains, and it's because it's not, until very, very recently, this was not such a sexy topic. So translating it in any way to something a little bit more mainstream, or something that's even very easily absorbed without going to a terminal market at 2 in the morning, or working in a packing house or something like that. It's kind of tough to get a handle on that information, because this is work that has literally taken place in the middle of the night for a very long time, and it's really only recently that people have even started to wonder about it. So I think as far as sort of the new crop of people working in this field, I think studying the the theory and how it all works and the economics of it is obviously wonderful and extremely important, and we need to know that. But it's really like the basic day-to-day supply chain management and getting stuff from A to B that's where we're seeing the biggest learning curve. And I mean, myself included. You should see me drive a forklift. It's embarrassing.
I'm sure you probably look a lot like my first couple of passes on the tractor. You definitely realize quickly how incredibly slow you are. I gained a lot of respect for the guys I was working with up at the farm very quickly once I was behind the wheel. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. I want to thank you so much for coming on. If folks want to find out more about the work you guys are doing, we should direct them to www.grownyc.org/wholesale. Anything else that we want to throw in here as far as things that are coming up or ways that people should reach out if they want to learn more or get involved in your work?
I will actually correct you on the web address.
Oh, great.
grownyc.org/Greenmarket Co. Wholesale is for our wholesale green market. I would also encourage people to check that out. That's a really great way of, kind of it's a great first step into the wholesale business. Those guys have been doing direct wholesale out of their trucks for ages, and sort of the last bastion of guys that are doing that. And they're located in the Hunts Point area, right near the Jetro at 149th Street, and the address is on our webpage.
Awesome. But for Co, /Greenmarket Co.
Greenmarket Co.
I was on the wrong webpage. My apologies. Thanks again, Olivia. Thanks for tuning in and being available for the interview. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
This, like all 30 of our live weekly shows, are available for free. Visit our website, www.heritageradionetwork.org. If you like what you hear, we hope you'll consider becoming a member today by clicking that donate tab. At the $120 level, we'd love to send you one of our brand new totes. It can be the envy of kohlrabi carrying moms and dads everywhere. Stay tuned next week for another episode of the Farm Report. We'll be on the line with the homesteaders of America, big award winners in the homesteading movement. So tune in next Thursday at 1 o'clock to hear more. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for listening to this program on heritageradionetwork.org. You can find all of our archived programs on our website or as podcasts in the iTunes Store by searching Heritage Radio Network. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at @heritage_radio. You can email us questions at any time at info@heritageradionetwork.org. Heritage Radio Network is a non-profit organization. To donate and become a member, visit our website today. Thanks for listening.
Today's program has been brought to you by Consider Bardwell Farm, the first cheese-making co-op in Vermont. For more information, visit www.considerbardwellfarm.com.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network, broadcasting live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. If you like this program, visit heritageradionetwork.org for thousands more. What's hot at the Green Market? You're about to find out now. It's the Grow NYC Market Update.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Grow NYC Market Update. We are on the line with Jean Hodesh of New York City's Green Markets, and we are taking a little trip today where we're heading.
Hi, Erin. So I thought that in honor of September 11th and remembering how strong our lower Manhattan community is, that today we would head down to Manhattan's southern tip to what we like to call our commuter markets. So those are the Staten Island Ferry, the Bowling Green, and the Downtown Path Train Green Markets. And as you can imagine, many thousands of people pass through these major transportation hubs on their regular commute to and from work. They are saying that 60,000 people a day ride the Staten Island Ferry alone. So that's like an amazing number of people to pass by. And Green Market is happy to be there when they head into work, offering all sorts of locally grown food to regulars, and also introducing all the tourists that come through to what the region has to offer when they stop by and they're on their way to destinations like the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island.
Awesome. So who are the kind of producers or farmers that we should be looking for?
Sure. So I'll start with the Downtown Path Market, which is open on Tuesdays. And commuters will find baked goods from Meredith's Bakery, like homemade quiche, scones, pies, and bread. And then there's a full range of vegetables and orchard fruit from Miglarelli Farms. At Bowling Green on Tuesdays and Thursdays, shoppers will, they always appreciate the vegan and gluten-free options from Body and Soul Bakery. So they've got muffins, wraps, and things you can eat at lunchtime. Jersey Farm is there, offering vegetables, herbs, and fruit coming in from Hunterdon County. New York State apples and other orchard fruit are available from the orchards of Conklin and Red Jacket Orchards. And then if you have a sweet tooth, there are really outstanding pastries by Las Delicias Bakery and also fresh bread from Meredith's. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, the Staten Island Ferry Market, which is in their Whitehall terminal. So if you go right up to where you would wait to catch the ferry, on Tuesdays and Fridays you'll find a really beautiful setup with Wilklow Orchards. They have really special apple cider donuts. They have apples, regular cider just for drinking, and then also Remsburger Maple is there, and they've got honey and maple syrup on offer. So, and also all really good, like, New York State products, which is, like, nice if you're just visiting and you can take something home or have an apple on the ferry. But the other great thing about all these markets is that they're open year-round.
Nice. So whenever you happen to be in the city passing through, there's a market there to meet your needs. I like that. What else should folks be looking to do if they're down taking a tour of the area?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously you can hop on a ferry. It's really nice to get on the Staten Island Ferry. It's free and just a beautiful way to sneak off the island for a minute and look back at it from afar to get out on the water. And the same goes for visiting Bowling Green. It's the place where you actually catch the ferries is kind of right across the street from where our market is. So you can go to catch the ferry out to Ellis Island or the Statue of Liberty. And then also the Museum of the American Indian is right there. You can enjoy a market lunch in the park, visit Battery Urban Farm. You can stop by the Table Green Mary Cleaver's kiosks that are down there, where you can enjoy a grass-fed hot dog or a glass of New York State wine or beer. And it's just a beautiful place to watch the sunset.
Sounds lovely. Well, after checking those markets out, if we have time in our weekly schedule, I know you guys always got tons of stuff going on. So what should we be putting on the calendar for this coming week?
So this Saturday at Union Square from 10 to 2, we have the author Hiroko Shimbo. She's going to be signing copies of her great cookbook, Hiroko's American Kitchen, and she'll also be doing a cooking demo. So she's really lovely. If you've met her before, definitely come by and say hello. And then over in Brooklyn at Grand Army Plaza, we have also on Saturday from 10 to 1, Rick Field from Rick's Picks, the famous pickle company that sells at Market. He'll be doing a cooking demonstration. And then on Sunday in the East Village, we have our annual salsa off at Tompkins Square Greenmarket. So if you think you've got a really great homemade salsa recipe, bring it by, and there will be some judges and tasting and prizes. And then next Saturday at Union Square, September 21st, we're having Rainforest Alliance come in to do a big event at the Union Square Pavilion. So there are going to be some guest chefs from Tocqueville and Telepan. They're going to be talking about food and sustainability. So there will be giveaways and contests, and you can learn about Rainforest Alliance, which does really great work.
Man, always so many great things. Well, Jean, thank you for taking some time out to give us the update.
Thanks a lot.
For folks who want to find out more, definitely check out www.grownyc.org/ourmarkets. There you can get info on cooking demos, book signings, giveaways, everything happening weekly at the market. Also find them on your favorite social media stream, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, whatever floats your boat. They've got tons of beautiful pictures and also the latest updates on what's happening at the city's green markets. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll be back next week for another episode of the Grow NYC Market Update.
Thanks for listening to this program on heritageradionetwork.org. You can find all of our archived programs on our website or as podcasts in the iTunes Store by searching Heritage Radio Network.
You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at heritage_radio. You can email us questions at any time at info@heritageradionetwork.org. Heritage Radio Network is a non-profit organization. To donate and become a member, visit our website today. Thanks for listening.